Good morning. I'm just going to do a mini practice this morning since I did a longer one yesterday and my camera couldn't even finish recording it all and I couldn't post it all to YouTube. So I'm just going to make shorter ones. So take a nice deep inhalation as you sit in a comfortable, easy pose. Take the opposite foot in front so that you're sitting in the most common way, just to balance yourself a little bit. Okay? So feel your seat bones grounding into the floor. Take the seat flesh and move it away so you can actually feel your bones grounding into the surface underneath you. Using that grounding to lift each vertebrae. So as you push down, you can feel your seat bones pushing down. Using that leverage to lift up out of each vertebrae. So as you can push down, you can lift up. So it's the opposing forces. And this happens in everything in yoga. You work with opposing forces. And you always want to be engaged. It's not about being flexible. Flexibility without strength leads to injury. So, sitting grounded, bringing your palms into your chest, lifting your sternum with your thumbs, taking a nice deep inhalation here, honoring your heart and your chest and all that's going on there as you take that inhalation, feeling the oxygen, filling your lungs, oxygenating your body, holding at the top for a few seconds, allowing your body to absorb all those wonderful oxygen that you're breathing as you settle. Now take one more deep inhalation. Feeling that full breath in your chest, expanding your chest. Seeing if you can take in a little more oxygen. Of course, I'm talking, so I'm exhaling as I speak. And exhale. Feeling yourself grounding each time you exhale, feeling those seat bones deeper into the earth. Taking a nice deep inhalation again. Now let's all come together and say Ong. That's pressing the tongue on the upper palate on the G. Ong. Now, if you do not know about this, the vibrations actually can vibrate your pituitary gland in the center of your brain, waking it up, helping your hormones to generate. You're literally regenerating your glands by pushing on your upper palate with your tongue. You're awakening your third eye energetically. So let's do that again. Om. Can you feel the vibration of your body as you're doing this? Wonderful. Now using that vibration of your energy, open your eyes gently. Feeling that buzzing through your body. Feels great. Now come onto your hands and knees. We're going to do some gentle cat-cow, so lifting your pelvis out of your body by pushing your back up like a scared cat, and your head goes down. And then inhaling as you dip your torso towards the earth, keeping your hips and your shoulders in alignment. And exhaling and continuing this motion, feeling the opening of each vertebrae as you do this. Moving your neck and your head up and down. Getting the stretch throughout your entire body, initiating the movement with your pelvis. So you start by moving your pelvis and the rest of your body moves with it. Good. Now, let's come into Virasana. So that's, I want you to get a block. If you don't have a block, get a book or a pillow. because most likely you will not be able to sit between your feet without a prop underneath your bottom. So I want you to sit on a prop with your feet spread as wide as your hips, so that if you were sitting, your feet would be next to your hips. So many people don't understand this and they sit on top of their feet. You literally need to have your feet next to your hips. So make them wide. And your tops of your feet might hurt. This is why we're on a yoga mat, because the mat cushions, because the bony texture of your feet can hurt on the hardwood floor. It was intense when I first started doing this, because I used to wait tables in high heels. So my arches have been deformed from the high heels. And so the tops of my feet are pointy, and this really hurts. But over time, it doesn't hurt anymore now. And I've reshaped my feet to be more healthy and less painful. This pose really helped me do that. I have plantar fasciitis, which just means foot inflammation. So it's really good to do this pose. It's good for your ankles. It's good for your feet, laying flat, pointing straight back behind you, not sickling inward, but going straight back. And I like to adjust my toes here. Okay, we've been in this pose for a minute now. If you don't do this, it might be hard for you, but I want you to understand why this pose is so important. You're literally squeezing out the meniscus, the synovial fluid, so that when you come in and out of this, you are replenishing them. You are preventing yourself from having arthritis. That's why it hurts. You are preventing that pain from happening later on in life. So come on out of that by coming into on your hands and knees and shake out your feet a little, do little leg circles. Good. Now we're going to stand up, move your block or any props out of the way. Stand at the top of your mat with your feet hip width distance apart. And you can't see me, so I'm going to come back to the end of my mat so you can see me. Okay? I'm not even going to stand on my mat so you can see me. I don't need a mat. Anyways, standing with your feet hip widths apart. Lift your arms up and look up between your arms. Taking a nice deep inhalation here. As you exhale, forward fold by rotating at the hips. So actually bring your hands onto your hips, and you're like one of those office toys that bobs up and down like this. I want you to do that for a few times. Up and down. Don't even go all the way to a 90-degree angle. Just get that motion in your hips. So what I'm doing here is I have my hands on my hips so that when I bend over, I can push the top forward and really get the rotation of my hips. This is how you forward fold. With the rotation of your hips, not with your back. Do not use your back. That will lead to injury in your vertebrae. Okay? So I want you to get used to bending over like this by using your hips. And if your hips are stiff, that's okay. Just do it over and over again. Okay? If you're old and you're whatever, if you're injured and you have that rustiness, just do this. Just bend over. Literally, it's like you're working a wheel. Okay? Oiling that joint. So now, bring your hands onto the blocks or onto the floor. Wherever you are. Taking a deep breath here, folding in further. If you can. If you cannot, if your back cannot go flat, then stay here at the top. Otherwise, fold in. And inhale, coming up to the top again. And we're going to go into another forward fold, doing that same hip rotation. And this time, pressing your palms into the floor. Coming into a downward facing dog. Now, I want you in your first down dog to keep your knees bent, okay? And pressing your palms into the floor. A slight outer rotation so that you're engaging your shoulder blades on your back body and not injuring your arms, okay? Really using your hands and your fingers, being strong, and lifting your hips up and back into the air. And breathing here for a moment. Seeing if you can lengthen your heels towards the floor a little bit as you continue to keep your hips lifted in the air. If you cannot keep your hip lifted in the air with straightening your leg, then keep your knees bent. I'd rather have your knees bent than taking it out in your hips, okay? So now take a deep breath here and come into plank. And really feel your shoulder blades work on your body. So you're actually coming down a little bit so that you're sinking your shoulder blades onto your body. Taking a breath here. If you need to come onto your knees. And then doing chaturanga for one breath. And then lowering your pelvis to the floor and then lifting your chest. So your chest never really touches